Good morning, students. Welcome to our online class. This is your second period and the subject is economics. Students, today through this recorded video class, I am going to start chapter 8 from the book Indian Economic Development. This is Indian Economic Development. From this book, I am going to start chapter 8 from unit 2 with the title Infrastructure. The title of the chapter is Infrastructure. Fine, students? Now, next. Actually, yesterday I have started this chapter, but due to some disturbance, I may not convey you properly. So once again, I am going to restart this chapter, that is chapter 8, Infrastructure. I appeal all my students to listen this lecture and watch this video carefully so that you can understand better the content which is given in this book. Students, in this chapter, today in this video, I will try to cover the following topics. One is introduction, meaning of infrastructure, which includes definition also, definition of infrastructure. Then what is this infrastructure includes? What does it include? What it, I'll write here, what it includes. What does infrastructure includes? Next one, relevance of infrastructure. Relevance of infrastructure in our country India. Next one, what is the condition? State the condition of infrastructure in our country India. So these topics we are going to cover in this chapter in today's this recorded video class. But before going to start the topics, my dear students, when you learn this chapter, when you complete the reading of this chapter, then you will come to know what is meant by infrastructure, what is its meaning, definition of infrastructure, types of infrastructure. Several types are there: social infrastructure, economic infrastructure, health infrastructure. So many you will come across in this chapter. Next, you will come across that how this infrastructure is very useful for economic development of a country. How infrastructure is very useful for the economic development of a country. Next one, what are the challenges? What are the problems? What are the challenges? What are the problems that we are facing in India in building social infrastructure and economic infrastructure? You will also read in this chapter how energy is playing a crucial factor. How energy is playing a crucial factor in infrastructure. That means energy is very important component. Energy is one of the very important component which is needed for infrastructure. So the role of energy as a critical component of infrastructure, that also you will learn in this chapter. Finally, the problems and prospects of energy. What are the problems? What are the prospects of energy and health sectors? That also you come to know from this chapter. Finally, you will come across what is the condition of health infrastructure in our country India. Health infrastructure, what does it mean? What is the condition of health infrastructure in our country India? So these are some of the topics which you are going to learn after finishing this chapter. Okay, so students, be alert. I am starting this chapter. Please. First question, I will begin this chapter with a question. In India, there are 28 states are there at present. At present, there are 28 states are there. Have you ever thought of that why some states are developing in a particular field, excelling in particular field, whereas other state can't? What I meant to say, have you ever thought of that why some states in India are performing much better? They're performing much better in some areas. They're performing much better in some areas than other states. Have you ever thought that one? Have you ever thought that why in India, out of 28 states, why some states are performing better, performing well in certain areas when compared with other states? What is the reason? For example, listen carefully. For example, if you take agriculture, the condition of agriculture in India, so any student can easily say, out of 28 states, it is Punjab that is doing excellent performance in agriculture. Similarly, so Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, western part of Uttar Pradesh, these are some of the states which are doing excellent performance in agriculture production. Similarly, the state of Maharashtra, the state of Gujarat, they are doing excellent performance in industrial development. So many industries are established in these two states. They are doing excellent performance in what? Industrial development. Similarly, you come to Kerala, in South India, you come to Kerala state. Kerala state is also showing an excellent performance in what? Education, sanitation and health. Education, sanitation and health, these are the three fields where Kerala state is performing or doing excellent. That's why, nearly 70% of literacy rate is achieved by Kerala, nearly. Similarly, the sanitation facilities in Kerala is excellent. Coming to healthcare facilities, so in health status, from health point of view, the health sector is, the health infrastructure is well advanced, well developed in Kerala. That's why it is performing excellent in these three sectors. Okay. Similarly, Karnataka state, another state, Karnataka. Karnataka is performing excellent in communication and information technology sector. Information technology is excellent in Karnataka, particularly in Bengaluru city. Bengaluru is the capital of Karnataka. So in Bengaluru city, you'll find information technologies developed a lot. It is called the Silicon City of India. The IT capital of India is Bengaluru. DAS is known as the IT capital of India, Bengaluru. The Silicon City of India, Bengaluru. The Electronic City of India, Bengaluru. So, information technology, communication, these are well developed in Karnataka. Now I am asking you, why these 4-5 states, or why these states are doing excellent in those areas in India, whereas other states can't? Very simple. For this question, your answer is simple. That in those areas or in those states, excellent infrastructure is there in that particular field. For example, in Haryana, in Punjab, in Western Uttar Pradesh, irrigation facilities are excellent. Canals are excellent. Wells are also started digging over there. So the irrigation facilities are available. That's why they are excelling in what? Agriculture. Similarly, in Maharashtra, what? Good network of transportation, marketing centers, banking facilities, availability of labor, export and import facilities. All this helps in what? Development of industrial sector. Similarly, in Kerala, that literacy rate, sanitation facilities, healthcare facilities are excellent. I mean, the infrastructure which is needed for these three sectors are there well developed in Kerala. That's why the states are developing those areas or excelling in those areas. Similarly, Bengaluru city, the capital of Karnataka, is performing excellent in the information technology, the Silicon City, the electronic capital of India. Okay. Now, so here manufacturing industry is easily accessible in Maharashtra and Gujarat. Cities like Bengaluru in Karnataka, okay, attract many multinational companies. Many multinational companies, MNC. Many multinational companies are established in Bengaluru city. Okay, because they provide world-class communication facilities. World-class facilities. World-class communication facilities. World-class communication facilities are provided by the Karnataka government in Bengaluru city. That's why many MNC companies, many multinational companies are attracted towards Bengaluru city. So all these support structures, I mean health, sanitation, education, irrigation, transportation, communication, all these are the supporting structures which facilitate the development of a country. All these are the supporting structures: health, education, sanitation, irrigation, power, transportation, communication. All these are the supporting structures for a country's economic development. All this constitutes infrastructure. I told you what it includes. Infrastructure includes health, education, sanitation, transportation, communication, irrigation, power, etc. etc. Many things are included in this infrastructure, and they are the supporting structure for a country's economic development. How then does infrastructure facilitate development? That we will come to know from this chapter. Fine. What is infrastructure? First, definition ka meaning. What is meant by infrastructure? Meaning of infrastructure. What is the meaning of infrastructure? What is the definition of infrastructure? So I'll explain. So listen carefully, students. Infrastructure is the support system or supporting system. Infrastructure is the supporting system or support system for agriculture, for industries, for trade, and for that commerce. I can say infrastructure is a support system or supporting system. Infrastructure is a support system or supporting system, or it is a supporting services that helps in the main areas of agriculture. I mean, infrastructure helps in the main areas of key areas of agriculture, industrial development, I mean agriculture development, industrial development, domestic trade, foreign trade, commerce. In all these areas, this infrastructure is acting as a supporting system or support service. Okay, so here infrastructure is helping the main system. Since infrastructure is a supporting system, they are providing only supporting services. So these supporting services are used in the main services like agricultural growth, agricultural development, industrial growth, industrial development, trade, both domestic and foreign trade, commerce, etc. etc. For example, roadways, railways, ports, airports, seaports, dams, power stations, oil and gas pipelines, telecommunication facilities, educational institutions, universities, hospitals, sanitary system, providing clean drinking water, potable water. Okay, banking, insurance, consultancies. All these are helping in what? The production of goods and services and the distribution of goods and services. I repeat once again, my dear students, listen carefully. Infrastructure is a support system or supporting services for the main services such as agriculture, industries, domestic and foreign trade, and commerce. Here, transportation, communication, health, education, irrigation, power, sanitation, okay, providing safe drinking water, oil and I can say here oil and gas pipelines, telecommunication, banking, insurance. All these are some of the supporting structures or supporting services or supporting system that helps in the main system, like either agriculture, industries, or that trade and commerce, etc. This supporting system, this infrastructure helps in the production of goods and services. Infrastructure always helps in the production of goods and services. At the same time, they also helps in what? Transportation of goods and services from one place to another. Moreover, the trade of goods and services are also done through communication. So communication is very, very important. Along with the transportation, communication also equally important in what? The transportation of goods and services, the selling of goods and services, etc. Now, coming to next one. I told you what does that infrastructure includes. I told you all the things: irrigation, power, sanitation, health, education, power, so banking, insurance, so many things are included in this infrastructure. Now, classification of infrastructure. Now I am classifying the infrastructure in this way. Some people, some economists, they divide infrastructure into two categories. Some Indian economists, they classify infrastructure into two categories. One is economic, one is social and economic infrastructure. I repeat, some divide infrastructure into two categories, namely economic and social. Now, infrastructure associated with energy, that infrastructure which is associated with energy, for example, transportation is associated with energy, communication is associated with energy. So transportation, communication which are associated with energy, they comes under what? Economic infrastructure. I repeat, infrastructure is classified under two categories by some of the economists, namely economic infrastructure, second is social infrastructure. Here economic infrastructure means transportation, communication, power, irrigation. These are some examples. So in this economic infrastructure, power is very, very important. Or I can say energy. Power means energy. So energy is an important component. Energy is an important component in this economic infrastructure. So whenever in any infrastructure, whenever in any infrastructure, if energy is an important component, if energy is required, then we can say that infrastructure comes under economic infrastructure. Similarly, education, health, housing, education, health, housing, all these three, they comes under social infrastructure. Education, health, sanitation, housing, all these things comes under social infrastructure. Fine. I hope you understood that infrastructure is classified under two categories. One is economic infrastructure, other is a social infrastructure. Economic infrastructure includes transportation, communication, irrigation, power generation, etc., where energy is an important component. Energy is needed in that one. Whereas social infrastructure includes what? Housing, health, sanitation, education, etc. Now, relevance of infrastructure. Another topic, relevance of infrastructure. Let us see what does this topic includes. Relevance of infrastructure. Listen. I told you infrastructure is a support system. Infrastructure is the support system on which the efficient working of modern industrial economy depends on. Modern Indian economy, the efficient working of modern Indian economy, the efficient working of modern Indian economy is highly depends upon what? Infrastructure, the supporting structure, the supporting system. I repeat, infrastructure is a support system. I told you, infrastructure is a support system or supporting structure. This is very, very essential. This is very, very essential for what? The development of the efficient working of modern industrial economy. So if you want that modern industrial economy should work efficiently, or if you want efficient working of modern industrial economy, then we need the support system infrastructure. Today modern agriculture needs what? Irrigation. Irrigation is provided with the help of energy. Energy is needed for irrigation. Otherwise the pumps will not run. The pump set will not work. Okay. So modern agriculture also largely depends upon it for speedy and large scale transportation of oil seeds. Who will transport the seeds? Who will transport the fertilizers? Who will transport the pesticides for agriculture? Transportation. Who will give the information about good seeds, fertilizers and pesticides? Communication. So transportation and communication both are helping a lot. Transportation and communication both are helping a lot for the modern agriculture. Okay, transportation of agricultural production from producing areas to the marketing centers, transportation of the pipes, PVC pipes, fertilizers, pesticides, okay, seeds from marketing to agriculture field. These are done by what? Transportation. So transportation and communication both are equally important for the development of modern agriculture. Similarly, transportation can be done through roadways, railways, airways, waterways. So roadways, railways, airways, waterways, all this also comes under transportation, and transportation ultimately comes under what? Infrastructure. So transportation can be done through land, air, water. Land, air, water, we can do transportation. Okay. In recent times, what? Agriculture also depends on insurance and banking. You might have heard agricultural insurance, house insurance, car insurance, our personal life insurance, car insurance, house insurance. Like that nowadays, agriculture insurance is also started. Agriculture also was brought under control of what? Insurance. So nowadays modern agriculture also depends upon insurance and banking. There are many farmers who are taking the help of insurance companies. They are insuring their crop. Many people are taking what? Loan facilities, credit facilities from banks. They are taking short-term loans, medium-term loans, long-term loans. So nowadays I can say, apart from transportation, apart from communication, modern agriculture also depends upon insurance and banking facilities. And here insurance and banking facilities also comes under infrastructure. Okay. Infrastructure contributes the economic development of a country. Very, very important, you can underline. Infrastructure contributes the economic development of a country both by increasing the productivity of the factors of production and also what? Improving the quality of life of its people. I repeat once again. Infrastructure helps in contributing the economic development of the country. First point. Infrastructure contributes the economic development of a country by improving the productivity of the four factors of production. They are land, labor, capital, organization. I repeat once again. Infrastructure contributes for the economic development of a country. Infrastructure contributes for the economic development of a country by increasing the productivity of the four factors of production and also improving the quality of life of the people. For example, if you develop health facilities, health infrastructure, naturally the quality of life of the people will be improved. If you develop education, if you establish more and more schools and colleges, then naturally they will become literate, their quality of life will be improved. Similarly, here four factors of production: land, labor, capital, organization. These are the four factors of production. Their productivity, their capacity of productivity will be increased only with the help of proper and efficient infrastructure. Now, today with the development of health infrastructure, in India, we are able to control several diseases, several dangerous diseases we are able to control. And through efficient sanitation, we are able to control what? The life, quality of the life of the people. What I want to say here, it is with the development of health infrastructure in India, today we are able to control so many diseases, so many problems of the people. We are able to control morbidity. Underline the word morbidity, morbidity. Morbidity means what? Whenever people will fall ill, is called what? Morbidity. You will see. What is the meaning of morbidity? Morbidity means proneness to fall ill. Morbidity means what? The proneness to fall ill is called morbidity. So with the development of health infrastructure, with the development of sanitation, by providing safe drinking water, developing sanitation facilities, health facilities, we are able to control morbidity of the people in India. Okay, fine. Next topic, the state of infrastructure in India. I mean, what is the condition of infrastructure in India? Whether the infrastructure is good, sound, or we lack in proper and efficient infrastructure. Here, the state of infrastructure, the condition. The state means what? In bracket condition. The state, the condition. So, what is the condition of infrastructure in our country India? State the infrastructure position in our country India. Whether infrastructure facilities are good in our country India or they are inefficient, whether they are efficient or inefficient. If inefficient, then how to develop that infrastructure in India? That we have to see. So traditionally, The government has been solely responsible for the development of country's infrastructure. Generally, in olden days, up to 1980s or before 1990s, up to 1990s or before 1980s, traditionally it was believed that it is the sole responsibility of the government to provide efficient infrastructure in our country India. I mean, government will provide roads, government will provide communication, government will provide irrigation, government will establish schools, government will establish hospitals. So earlier people are thinking like that. So traditionally it was expected, hoped that it is the sole responsibility of the government for establishing what? The infrastructure facilities in our country India. But how long or how much the government alone can do? Population is increasing, demand of the people is increasing. So, and government need that much money amount, time, money amount is needed for developing this infrastructure, isn't it? But it is found that government's investment in infrastructure was inadequate. Yes, of course, it is the sole responsibility of the government to provide adequate infrastructure facilities in a country India up to 1980s. But to provide that infrastructure, the government should have enough investments, enough money to provide better infrastructure facilities to the people of the country. But unfortunately, in our country India, we are having inadequate, less than required, investments. When the investment itself is less, then how we can provide better infrastructure facilities to the people of India? That's the question mark. That's why today the private sector by itself and also in a joint partnership with the public, today you are seeing some infrastructures are provided by private sector. Some infrastructures are provided by both private and public sector jointly. I repeat, today some of the infrastructure facilities are provided by the private sector and some infrastructure facilities are provided both by government and private sector together, joint sector. Example, here Raj Parivahan, Chhattisgarh Road Transport Corporation, Chhattisgarh Road Transport Corporation, buses are running. Those buses you might have read there on the hire with Chhattisgarh Road Transport Corporation. That means those buses are taken from private organization. They were hired by the private sector but provided by government. Your joint sector, both are working together, both public and private, both are working together. One more example, telecommunication department. Telecommunication department, Idea, Airtel, Jio, these are private companies. BSNL, government one. So both BSNL and this all Idea, Airtel and Jio all are working together. That means private sector and public sector both are working together. That's the best example of joint sector. So today many areas are there where only private sector alone is providing the infrastructure, and there are some few areas where both public and private sector jointly providing some infrastructure facilities. Okay. Now, a majority of our people live in rural areas. Yes, in India, majority of the people lives in where? Rural areas. Okay. Despite so much technical progress in the world, rural women are still using biofuel such as crop residues. Today also you might have seen generally more and more people are living in where? Rural areas. More people are living in rural areas. Okay. And despite even though lot of technology was improved, lot of technological progress was made in India, but still in rural areas you can see rural women are using the agricultural residues, the agricultural leftover things, cow dung cake, firewood for fuel, for energy purpose. Still rural women are using biofuels such as crop residues, cow dung, fuel wood, firewood, to meet their energy requirements daily, to cook the food, to heat the water, etc. etc. They are using the biofuels, the leftover things in the agriculture field, firewood, cow dung cake, etc. For what? Energy, for the daily requirements. They walk long distance. They walk long distances for fetch fuel to collect what? Firewood from the forest areas. They also walk long distance to fetch water for drinking purpose in order to attend their basic needs. According to Census 2001 shows that in rural India, only 56% households in rural India, I'm talking about rural India. According to 2001 census, okay, that shows that in rural India, only 56% of households have electricity. Suppose 100 houses are there in India, suppose 100 houses are there in a village. Suppose 100 houses are there in a village, only 56 houses are having electricity power. And 43% still use what? Kerosene lamps. About 90% of the rural households use biofuels. I mean that cow dung cake, the forest fuel, okay, and what? The agricultural residues for cooking. The tap water. Actually, I told you they are going long way to fetch the drinking water. Tap water facilities availability is limited only to 24% of the rural households. Out of 100 people or out of 100%, only 24% people are able to use tap water, the municipal tap water. About 76% of the population drinks water from open sources. 76. I mean 24% are using tap water. Out of 100%, 24% people are using tap water. Remaining 76% of people are drinking water through open wells, rivers, tanks, ponds, canals, etc. Just imagine the condition. Out of 100%, 76% people are what? They are getting the water from open sources such as wells, canals, tanks, ponds, rivers, etc. Only 24% people are having the tap water. Access to improved sanitation in rural areas was only 20%. Sanitation facilities are less in rural areas. Only 20% people are having the sanitation facilities. 80% people are not having. Thanks to this Narendra Modi ji, who started what? The Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and provided that washrooms in every house. Now, see the table, look at the table 8.1. Look at the table 8.1, which shows the state of some infrastructure in India in comparison with few other countries. Here one table is given, that is 8.1 table. In this table, it is a comparative table or comparison table. This table compare or shows us that what is the state or what is the condition of infrastructure in India when compared with some of the other countries. Okay, though it is widely understood that infrastructure is the foundation of development. Yes, infrastructure is the foundation of development. India is yet to wake up to the call. Infrastructure is the foundation for development. Yes, agreed. But India is still yet to wake up to the call. India invests only 34% of its GDP. India invests 34% of its GDP on infrastructure, which is far below than China and Indonesia. So my dear students, up to here I am stopping. We will continue in the next period. Okay. So students, today is the last period. Tomorrow onwards we are having Dasara vacation. So my dear students, enjoy the Dasara vacation. Students, today is the last day and tomorrow onwards we are having the Diwali break. Enjoy the Diwali vacation. Enjoy the festival of lights. But be careful. Have a safe Diwali. At the same time, what I suggest, at least 2-3 hours you spend on your studies, because this time the CBSE will conduct examinations as usual on time. There is no question of what postpone or the dropout of exams. Clear students? Please do read. And I posted yesterday some of the activities to be done by the class 11th and 12th students. Please students, once you please try it, spend 1-2 hours and perform some activities which is provided to you. Please do that activities and share in my personal window. Let us prove that my senior wing students also doing well in craft work. They are good in craft work. They are good in making videos. Please students, do that one and share your work. Thank you. Take care.